A few days ago, I did some polls. I asked you if you're planning to travel this summer. You said yes, within the US. I asked you how much money you typically spend on your travels. You said anywhere between under 2,000 to under 5,000. So you're spending relatively okay money. It's not crazy. So I think that's very doable for most people. Now, I wanted to see for those of you that don't want to spend the money or you don't have the money to go on vacation, if there's still hope. I looked hard, I looked around, I said, what can I do? And I came up with a good setup. The good setup has to have a hotel. It has to have an airline credit card, and it has to have some general use credit cards. Since most of you are traveling within the US, I have to take that into consideration. So I can use credit cards that I would typically not use on my trips internationally, like the Freedom Flex, for example. I mean, it's a card that I typically don't use when I go out of the country, but if you stay within the US, you get the benefits of all these nice multipliers that it offers. I don't want to say anything more. I want to jump to today's presentation and see what we have and then come back to wrap it up. Now, most of you kept telling me about this credit card, the Marriott Boundless, and I kept ignoring it. We saw this credit card. I made a video some months ago when Marriott came with these new credit cards. But back then there was 100,000 sign up bonus. Since they updated it, they have 3 nights up to 50,000 points per night. So technically 150,000 points or up to, which is incredible if you think about it. Potentially you can get 50% more than the original sign up bonus. And all that after spending only 3,000 in 3 months. The credits, we have 1 anniversary night per year up to 35,000 points. The memberships, we have Marriott Silver, which is low. We have 10% extra points when you spend on Marriott. The multiplier, 17x on Marriott, 3x on restaurants, gas and groceries, up to 6,000, all of these combined every year, 2x on everything else. This is incredible though, because you have 3x on everyday categories. No other travel credit card offers that, which is incredible. And all that gives us a return on spend of 38%. And on top of that, I have to say that Marriott is probably the second after Hyatt, of course, hotel chain that I would consider transferring points to, because most of the other hotel chains, you don't even think about it. If you have free nights, they have amazing credit card products. You have anniversary nights, amazing. If you spend within the hotel, you get crazy multipliers. But as far as transferring points to them, most of them are half cent per point, so it doesn't worth it. But Marriott is at least 0.8, so I would transfer on specific cases. Then I looked long and hard on the airline credit card. I looked Delta, I looked United, I looked even American, for God's sakes. I was that desperate. And I think that the best solution is Southwest for a few reasons. Southwest has a very decent worth on their points. So I have 1.2 cents per point here. I know you can get possibly more, but not for this summer. This summer especially is very busy. So guys, be realistic. I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible. 60,000 points is the sign-up bonus. Most of the credit cards right now have 50,000. Keep that in mind. Plus 30% off when you book with them as part of the sign-up bonus, which is great. After spending 3,000 in 3 months, the credits are incredible and they make this credit card a keeper for most people. $75 every year plus 7,500 points. 4 upgrades every year, so 4 boarding upgrades. So you're gonna get at least, in my experience, it's about $50 a pop. So you're gonna get $200 out of it. 25% off in-flight purchases, and 10,000 points of companion pass points. These are not real points that you can use, but these are points towards companion pass. So it's 100 and something thousand points that you need to have for Southwest. So they give you 10,000 every year, bring you a step closer if that's what you want. There's no membership or lounge access. The multipliers, 3x on Southwest, 2x on rental, partner rental, local transit, internet, cable, and phone, 1x on everything else, return on spend 26.2. And then for everyday expenses, if you are gonna be within the US, why not get the Freedom credit cards? Freedom Flex, Freedom Unlimited, $200 sign-up bonus each for only $500 spend. $1,000, you're gonna get $400 back. That's incredible deal. Now, that technically is 40%, but you see 45 here because we also account for the spending and the points you're gonna get from that spending. And roughly you're gonna get about 45% return on spend on these two credit cards. The multipliers are the usual suspects, 5x on rotating categories on the Freedom Flex, 3x on restaurants and drugstores, 1x on everything else, and the Freedom Unlimited, 5x on travel, 3x on restaurants, drugstores, 1.5 on everything else. But what happens in the second year? And the second year is not very important for this use case scenario. We're talking about how you can travel this summer. But let's say you don't want to be messing with your credit score so much, dumping credit cards, downgraded credit cards. You want to keep them. These are all keeper credit cards, and we see that after applying our imaginary budget, as always, of $12,000 equally spread between travel, restaurants, gas, and groceries, the Boundless is going to give you 5.1 cents per point as a standalone credit card. The Southwest Priority 3.5, closer to 4 if I was to round this number. The Freedom Flex 3.25 and the Freedom Unlimited 2.75, so roughly 3% each. And this is if you don't add any transfer point credit card, like any Sapphire credit card, or the Ink Premier, not Premier, or the Ink Preferred. Looking at them next to each other, we see that for the first year, that mind you is the year that we're looking now, 38.6% return on spend. This is incredible, guys. The second year and every year after, 3.6. If I was to round this number, 4%. And if I was to add a Sapphire credit card here, it would probably go a whole lot more, closer to 5, because then you can transfer and get, you could transfer this to Hyatt, you would get a whole lot more than this, about double than this, what you see here. So incredible deals if you ask me. But most importantly here, look what happens. You spend in total $7,000 to hit the sign-up bonuses on these credit cards, and you get about $2,500 back. That is incredible deal. $2,500 back. That is right there in between what you said you spend typically when you travel. So you could have your vacations for free by using these 4 credit cards. I have both of the Freedom credit cards. I still have the Southwest Priority, but I don't know if I keep it for this year. I think I'm going to cancel it because unfortunately I am using Southwest to go to Costa Rica, and I don't travel so much within the US. And if I do, there's so many flights I can find for dirt cheap most of the times. So I don't know if it's worth it for me. But for my use case scenario, but I know that many of you love it. I used to love it when Costa Rica was right there in front of me every time. Now it's very complicated for me to go with Southwest. If you try to book a flight to Costa Rica, you will see. But it's an excellent credit card. The Boundless is a credit card that I didn't pay attention to, and I see why so many YouTubers got it, and maybe I should get it. It's an incredible deal. Let me know what you guys think. If you're traveling this year, where you're traveling, if you're planning to get one of these credit cards, or if you have these credit cards and how you use them. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, ciao.